How's that?
Does that feel comfy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sweet.
Okay.
Okay, pronounce your full name.
Kylee Whiting.
Kylee Whiting. And thank you for coming all the way down here, all the way from Idaho to film and podcast. But your day started at 4 a.m. So.
Yeah. I'm running on a very low battery, but we've got our coffee and we're good to go.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be so fun.
And
I'm
the
so
podcast
excited.
dog sitting on your lap.
I know. Little Trigger. He's already cozied in and ready to go.
I know. Okay, so I haven't known you for very long. I mean, I've been following your family for a while just because I've known your dad for 4 years or, everybody, a lot of people know who your dad is. But you kind of just got started back into the family business in Kryptek, right?
Yes.
Okay. Can you explain kind of your journey and what led you back to working in the family business? And I know you did some rodeo. So just explain your story.
Yeah. Let me just start from the beginning and I'll kind of go into all of that so that it makes sense.
Yeah.
But yes, so for those of you that don't know, that may be watching the podcast or listening, my dad is Butch Whiting. He's the CEO and founder of Kryptek Outdoor Group, which is a hunting camouflage apparel company that he started. And it's super, super special because I have recently, in the last year especially, taken on some pretty significant roles in that company and just taking over a lot of marketing roles, e-commerce roles, PR roles, here and there, just picking up things where is needed, really. But I guess rewinding back into the beginning, and I could go into depth of like how the company started, but we would be here all day long. So I'll give you a quick little rundown, and then I'll go into kind of my story, and then how I got back to where I am now, which is working for Kryptek full time. So my dad was an Apache attack helicopter pilot in the Army, and he was a pilot for 10 years, and he grew up in Idaho. My family homesteaded in Idaho, both sides of my family, my mom and my dad's side. I'm a 6th generation Idahoan on both sides of my family, which I'm so proud of because most people can't say that because we've got a lot of Californians and all kinds of different people moving into the state. So it's pretty rare to find that nowadays. But anyway, so he was in the military for 10 years, and he grew up in Idaho, though, but and that's where really the outdoor industry and the outdoor lifestyle was instilled into him. And it's crazy to hear those stories about how his grandfather, my great grandfather, instilled hunting values into him, and those just core agricultural values growing up on a ranch in Rockland, Idaho, and from there, that's kind of really what was instilled into my dad. And then on the other side, my mom grew up showing horses. She grew up in 4-H. Her family hunted. So both sides of my family are very adventurous, outdoorsy, Western world as well, involved in the Western world. And so my dad joins the military. They have me while my dad's in the military. I was born in Alabama. He was stationed at Fort Rucker. Anyways, he was stationed all over the place, fighting our nation's battles, but truly held on to that love for the outdoor industry. And from there, he was overseas fighting our nation's battles and really was daydreaming about hunting back at home. And this is kind of the elevator pitch. I could go into way more depth on this, but and I feel like it's already getting too deep. But anyways, he basically conceptualized a camouflage pattern based on camo netting that goes over the military bases overseas. So when you're looking over a base from an aerial view, there's this 3D netting, and it's super effective. And so if you're familiar with the Kryptek camouflage pattern, some people mistake it as they say, oh, it looks like a reptile pattern or something along those lines, or like snakeskin. But really, it's a 3D print that was moved onto a 2D print. Anyways, he developed this pattern for the U.S. Army, and the Department of Defense basically put $10 million of testing into this camouflage pattern with hopes that it would become the new Army camouflage pattern for the U.S. military. Long story short, that entire contest that camouflage pattern was developed for ended up it just ended up disintegrating, really, because of some political climate effects and stuff. And so my dad from there said, okay, we had a lot of heavy natural campaigning from that, natural marketing. And our name was getting out there, and just because of the contest that he had developed this pattern for. And so then he brought it into the hunting civilian market. So from there, it just kind of took off. It was a hobby job. And at this point, I'm probably elementary school, and we're living in Alaska. It took off. My dad then moved us back home to Idaho because that was home for us. From there, I got into 4-H and grew up showing horses, doing rodeo queening. Rodeo queening is a big part of my life. I was the National High School Rodeo Queen in 2022, and that title personally shaped who I am today and brought lots of opportunity. And part of that is the reason I still work for Kryptek. Long story short, I go throughout college and get my degree in business administration, and I truly, when I was the National High School Rodeo Queen, I found a love for the world of business. Working with sponsors in the Western industry, I felt, oh my gosh, like I really want to do this someday. And so I found a need for that in Kryptek's company, basically just a need for more relationship-based attention. Like we needed more attention on the relationships we had in our company and the relationships we had amongst the outdoor industry. So I went to my dad and I said, I want to go all in on this, and I want to be like the POC for people that are VIPs. We call it our Legion members, or influencers, someone that may have influence on marketing for our company. And so I went all in on it, and I've been kind of ever since then. I started that, and then I've just been taking on more roles as I've grown. But yeah, I graduated, I'm now engaged. And so that's really the pitch of, like, I feel like I'm kind of rambling now. I feel like that's the short elevator pitch of how I kind of circled back around. But yeah, in between there, I've competed, went to Boise State University and competed college rodeo there in barrels. And then, now I'm getting married and working full time, and here I am.
Killing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're doing great. Okay, that is so fun. It's like fun to see it full circle, and I think especially coming from someone, my family kind of started a business. I grew up in a family business, and I saw the hard work that my parents put into it all through the years. And I think now as I'm getting older and I'm trying to decide what I want to do with my life, and then you look at it and you're like, well, I want to uphold this legacy, and how can I uphold what my parents worked so hard on? What made you finally decide I would like to do this?
I think it was more, I almost want to say I didn't really have a choice, because I have a duty as my dad's daughter. And not only that, with the skill sets that I was given, just the skill sets that I've developed, I feel that I have a duty to help the business. And there's something so special about putting my time towards something that is going towards my family's benefit and not just some random company, right? Mm-hmm. When you're putting your time and energy and your talents towards something that's so much bigger than yourself and so much bigger than just a paycheck, but it's like something that is, like you said, a legacy. I feel like that was the determining factor. Is Kryptek had a need. It still has needs. And I do my best to fulfill those needs to the best of my ability. And every day I'm thinking, okay, how can we help? How can we scale? What can we do? What do we need help in? Where are the holes? And we have plenty of things we need to work on as a business, as every business does, right? Mm-hmm. But I feel like I have a duty to my family. My parents have done so much for me. And I just feel like it's my calling right now. I'm on mission right now to be in that company and helping my family grow this business.
Yeah. No, I love it. Do you have siblings?
I have an older sister.
Okay.
Yep. And she's grown up in the company as well. She, in high school, worked for Kryptek, helped here and there as just office assistant type stuff, helping my dad stay organized. We've always been a family business, and we still are. You'll see my mom at the shows. My sister comes as much as she can, but she's actually in medical school right now at UW, which is crazy. If you know med school, my fiance's in med school too. So I know from a personal level how rigorous it is and time consuming. And it's you have to just let them live that life for a little bit until they're done with school. It's a hard path to work on. So she's been a little, I don't want to say disconnected, but just hasn't been able to give as much time to the company, which is great. That's not what she's meant to be doing right now. So
yeah, I mean, medical is crazy.
Right.
There's a reason why some people gravitate to it, and everybody has their own special skill set. So I do think it's important to, like, for siblings to, you know, everybody to go and explore like what that would be, and then kind of come back, and maybe it helps the family, but maybe it doesn't. And at the end of the day, if you're in a family business, you're wearing a ton of hats anyway, so you're never fully out of it, and you're never like fully away from it.
Yeah, 100%. And even her, like, she's very in tune with what's going on in the company. We have a family where our family group chat is rolling all day long. Like, my dad actually just sent a text literally as I was pulling in that we have a Costco deal going with our range bags, and he's like, they just landed, they're headed at every single Costco, which is a huge deal. And so, like, that's family update, right? Like, we're all, and it's we're very faith driven as well when it comes to like just our beliefs and stuff, and the company in itself has been founded on our faith. And so for us to like have prayers behind certain business moves and things that we do, like, it's for us, it's like, wow, that's a huge blessing to be able to like celebrate those wins together, because we've worked hard for those things together, and we've hoped for those things and prayed for those things. So it's really neat to see things come full circle.
Oh, I love it. That is so fun. That's so fun. Okay, so how does your fiance, well, first, how did you meet your fiance?
Yeah, so we actually met, and this is hilarious. This is so on point with like what we're talking about with just the business. We met skiing on a mountain called Tamarack Resort in Idaho. And the reason we met is because he was wearing a jacket, and I'm not going to say the name of the competitor, but it was a competitor of Kryptek, and they just done a collab with a ski brand, and I was super intrigued by it because I love to ski as well. It's a big hobby of mine, and so two worlds colliding, of course, skiing and the hunting world, right? So I see this jacket, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, can I please look at your jacket? I go up to him, I'm like, can I see that, please? And he was like, yeah, sure, like, I just got it. And anyways, he's like, do you hunt? And I'm like, yes, I do. And like, I didn't even know what he looked like at this point. He didn't know what I looked like. I mean, this is hilarious. And then we ended up skiing together the whole day because we both are pretty good at skiing, and we were with a group of friends. So it was mutual friends. It wasn't just some random guy in the mountain. And we went off because no one else could keep up with us, really. And we're like, okay, well, let's go have some fun at least and get on some black diamonds. And so we ended up skiing together the whole day, and then we reconnected later on, actually at a church event. So we met through church mutual friends. We were up at Tamarack through like with some church friends, and then but really we met through the outdoor industry because he loves to hunt. He's super outdoorsy, and he was wearing a competitor's jacket. And then I have since, I will say, transitioned him completely into wearing Kryptek, and he no longer owns a single piece of non-Kryptek camo.
I love it. Kind of had to, right?
Yeah.
That's like one of the checklists that he has to have.
Yes.
I love it.
It was an easy transition, though. And honestly, it's great to have that because as someone I value, he is very analytical. He's in medical school. He's super intelligent, and he is very analytical about his gear and the way he hunts, and the I guess the details on his gear and how it impacts his hunt, right? And so I really value his opinion when it comes to when we're creating a product, or if we have a current product, I'm like, give me your opinion on this. And I've actually heard a lot of great feedback when he comparing this other brand to Kryptek and saying, he was like, I will tell you the truth, like, you need to fix this, but I genuinely think this product is better. And so for me to hear that from someone who's a diehard archery backcountry hunter and he's hardcore, it's like, that's really, it's a breath of fresh air for me, and it's like relieving, and it's exciting for me because that's my family's company. And when I hear those, like, that type of feedback, it's good to hear, you know? Yeah. So anyways, and then he's also super helpful just when it comes to product development, when we're, hey babe, tell me, what do you want? Like, what do you want to see in this next jacket and things like that.
So, obviously you wear multiple hats. What is your favorite hat to wear within the business?
Oh goodness. That's a really hard question.
I know. Depends on the day, I guess.
Yeah, it does. There's so many ups and downs too. I mean, having a full plate. I will say that because I'm the type of person that wants to like have one like focus on something and like give my best to it. And sometimes I find myself I'm doing like 10 different things and I'm giving my best to the 10 things, but then it's not my best, you know, because I don't have time to really solely focus on one thing. But I will say this, my favorite part of working for the brand is the community of the outdoor industry, being on podcasts with people like you, and also just managing like those VIP relationships, having people come to me, hey, I need this, and then the satisfaction of making sure they're like being taken care of. And that, not only that, but like just the friendships you build in the outdoor industry. My dad has built quite the community for himself, and like now that I'm immersed in the company, I go on the show road and I see all these amazing people that like truly are good friends with my dad and are like brothers to him or even sisters to my mom, and it's like a family type of dynamic, I guess, in the outdoor industry. It's such a tiny world, right? And I really truly love just that community aspect of working with those individuals that are all so amazing, and they've all worked hard to be where they're at, right? Like being in the outdoor industry is not for the weak. It's typically people that say, I don't want to go work a 9-to-5 job, and I'm going to make my hobby my work job, which is exactly what my dad did. He made his hobby his work in a good way, and that's what most of these people have done. And so it's really quite a unique community.
Yeah. No, I can definitely agree with that. I've gotten to touch a lot of different industries in my line of work, and the hunting and the outdoor space definitely hits a different kind of community. And it's really fun to see and to see it grow too.
100%.
Like,
it's growing fast.
Yeah. Even the Western Hunt Expo,
Yes.
I'm like, holy cow, this show is like not slowing down. They're adding new rooms every year, and it's just getting crazy. So in jumping into rodeo and rodeo, you've obviously done rodeo your whole entire life. What made you like go to try out to be rodeo queen? I don't even know if that's the proper term. I don't come from a horse background, so I'm probably saying it wrong. But what made you take the leap and try out to be the rodeo queen?
Yeah, I think it, and this is probably a similar story to most rodeo queens, is just when you're younger, you see a rodeo queen and there's just some type of spark there that says, wow, like I want to be that, or I want to do that someday. And so from a young age, like when I would go to the rodeos, I would see those girls that I would look up to, and they were role models to me. And I said, someday I want to be in that arena with that crown, with those chaps on, with that sash on, and representing that rodeo. And it's really quite a unique thing to have, to be a rodeo queen. You're an ambassador for the sport of rodeo. You're an ambassador for so much more than that, though. You're an ambassador for animal welfare, and you're an ambassador for the Western industry and the Western heritage, which is something that's been under attack for years, as hunting has as well. It's just so intertwined, and so there's a lot of depth to it. But I would say, really, the way I got started was just from a young age, seeing that and being inspired. And that was really what drove me to keep going and to keep pursuing my queen career, because I knew there was younger girls out there like me when I was their age that were being inspired, and I wanted to help inspire them and influence them to go into rodeo queening, because there's so much depth to it, and I can get into that too, but the pageant process is not for the weak.
I know. I had Riley, my second guest, she became Miss Military. So she won Miss Military her title was last year. So I don't know if she wins it like the year before or whatever. Yeah. But she was, and she was kind of explaining the process when it comes to how do you become Miss Military. So how would you become what's the title?
I was the National High School Rodeo Queen.
Okay.
So that was the biggest title I've had. It's a world championship title. It's in conjunction with the National High School Rodeo Association Finals, which is a world rodeo. It's the world's largest rodeo. There's over 1,500 contestants, and they come all over from Canada, all the 50 states, Mexico, New Zealand, Australia. And so it's a huge, huge ordeal. And really the way that you get there is you have to win districts, and then you have to win from districts, you have to win state. So I won the state of Idaho. So I was also the Miss Idaho High School Rodeo Queen. And then from there, you compete at nationals. They call it nationals. It should be like a world championship because you're competing against other countries as well. And then, so I was competing against 43 girls, and I ended up winning by the grace of God, only by the grace of God. And the pageant process in itself is made up of categories. So you do a speech on stage. Sometimes it's an impromptu speech. So they'll give you a topic like 10 minutes before, and you have 10 minutes to come up with a 2-minute speech. You have impromptu questions on stage. So they'll ask you a question on stage. How quickly on your feet can you answer? You have private interviews, whether it's a horsemanship interview, which is all questions about horse science, rodeo related. It's like unlimited amount of studying in my like you can never study enough for these things. You have a personality interview, so they'll ask you questions about yourself. You do modeling, you're judged on your appearance, photogenics. You do a written test on the rodeo in itself. Gosh, there's probably more I'm missing, but you get the gist. Like, there's so much, but the most important one is horsemanship. They judge you on how well you can ride a horse. And
is there a certain style that they favor for that? Like, is it barrels or is it
reining?
poles?
Usually reining. Okay. So you do a reining pattern. It's like showing. And I grew up doing reining cow horse as well. And I actually won horsemanship so you win by category and then you win overall. So I ended up winning horsemanship at the national level on my horse Norma Jean, and she passed away last January, which was so hard, but she also competed on a world level at reining cow horse in Fort Worth, and she was a multiple time regional champion, state champion. She was an amazing horse. And so you're judged on that. In some pageants, to avoid the bias of like how well a horse is trained, we'll bring in draw horses, and they'll just bring in some horses that are all pretty evenly leveled skill wise, and then you get on a horse you've never ridden before, which I prefer because then it's fair game.
Yeah.
And you're judged on how well you can ride a brand new horse, because when you're on the road going to different rodeos representing, they give you horses and you're just jumping on new horses every weekend at new rodeos. And so it's really important that girls know how to truly ride a horse, not just their own horse, any horse.
Yeah. So what was the process like winning, like, queen?
Yeah. So this is actually probably something you may not expect, but I think after I won, I really had to take a step back and look at like the concept of contentment in a way, because I had spent my whole life going after this goal of wanting to win a world championship. And then I won the world championship. And after, I was like, okay, now what? In a way. And I was like, what now? Of course, I was proud of myself and so ecstatic and so honored. But then deep down, I was like, okay, what's my next goal? And of course, I think I'm driven. I'm very goal oriented. So my mind goes to what's my next goal? What's my next goal? And I had to take a step back and say, no, like, you were gifted this opportunity, like you are given this role, and you need to make the best of it and stop focusing on like what can you do better. Of course there's a balance there, but I really had to take a step back and like learn contentment in that after I won that championship, because I was like in a way not really satisfied. I was like, what's next? Like, I need to keep going, I need to keep pushing. And I really had to learn like, okay, and it really taught me a lesson of like, crown or not, you should be content through the journey of your life, right? Any situation, and any time you're chasing after a goal, or whether it be finances or a business or marriage, different chapters of life you're going after, school, rodeo, accomplishments, I don't know what it is, but I mean, you should be just content in the day you're living in, you know, in the now. And I know that sounds cliche, but I think that's the biggest thing I learned after I won Worlds was like, okay, you've made it, but like, are you content with like your accomplishments? Like, is it really that amazing? Like, you've worked so hard for this. And I really had to take a step back and just like humble myself and say, I'm honored to be in this position. I'm going to do my best this year to do my best and perform my best and just represent. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to be content with it though. And I'm going to be grateful instead of just like looking for the next thing. Yeah. But I think there's a balance. Like, you should of course have goals, mm-hmm. but it's important to like enjoy that day and just be like, I'm good. Like, today was awesome. Yeah. win or lose.
Well, shoot, no wonder you won. I mean, look at you. You're like so graceful. And like, that is the best answer. Like, I don't think it's cliche at all. I think that everybody kind of struggles with that. And like, you hear about when this person won the Olympics or this person's movie came out, and then they kind of hit this like almost like not depression era, but it does. You're like, well, now what?
Yeah.
Like, where's my value now?
It's almost like overrated in a way.
Yeah.
Like winning is overrated.
Yeah.
It's the hype. The hype is like the chase in a way.
Yeah.
And it's so important to enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
And I think for pageants specifically, like I told the girls after I won so you have like the following your pageant, and I was the host queen for the girls that were competing, and I was going to pass my crown down. Okay. I literally looked at them in the eye, turned my back towards the audience on stage, and I said, win or lose right now, you should all be so proud of yourselves because you have already won. Like they'd already won a state championship title or a province or a country. I was like, you have already won, and this week of pageant has shaped you. Like you will go home and be a better person because the pageant process in itself is so refining. And truly, you learn so much when you go into an interview and can like answer a question or have to speak on stage, and you're not afraid to publicly speak or go ride a brand new horse, Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
So when you won, it was a national high school. And you kept that crown for a year. Mm-hmm. So did you have to compete your junior year, or did you compete your senior and you were still had that crown while you were going to college?
So I won districts and state and nationals my junior year. I held the title all throughout my senior year. I handed my crown down after I graduated that July. So I graduated in May of 2023, right? I don't even remember. Gosh, it all like
somewhere in
what's
there.
What's the
it's
year
fine.
now? I don't even know. Oh goodness, I think it was 2023. Maybe even 2022. Yeah, I graduated in 2022. Duh. Anyways, now I'm aging. Now you guys know my age. Anyways, oops. I graduated in 2022 in May, and then I handed my title down after I graduated that July, and then went to college right out that August.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. And did you continue to do rodeo, or did you? That's when you decide. Are you still doing rodeo? Are you competing?
I went into college at Boise State University and then competed for Boise State Rodeo and barrel raced.
Oh, okay.
And throughout that, I was also barrel racing in high school rodeo.
Okay.
So, but that like the rodeo queen thing is like a separate event, basically.
Got it.
And then I also showed reining cow horse, which is one of my favorite sports on the earth to compete in. It's another sport. It's a whole different thing. And it's
brief description for those who don't know.
Reining cow horse. It's showing. It's not rodeo. You bring your horse into the arena and you do a pattern on your horse. You execute them in certain maneuvers. And then after the reining pattern, they bring a cow in, and you are judged on how well you can control that cow and put the cow into certain maneuvers. It's all a judge-based event. Okay. And so my horse that I won nationals with was also my reining cow horse. And she passed away in January, so I haven't gotten a new horse since because I've been kind of taking a break from reining cow horse, but I'm ready to get back in the show pen. It's just a matter of timing with the wedding and marriage and moving and all that.
Yeah.
So,
wedding. That is so exciting.
I know.
Are you excited? Do you have everything planned, or are you still?
I'm over it.
when do you have the date?
It's June 14th.
Okay, so it's coming up.
I'm over it.
You're over.
We can wedding planning. It's so ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, and it's very overwhelming. I think especially if you're doing your own, coming as an event planner or a wedding planner, like I definitely, if I have any advice for anybody, this process is supposed to be fun.
I know,
and it is,
you're right.
But I think we take on a lot of stress because you do want it to be so perfect, and you want those moments to be there, and you want to hit every touch point. So if I have any advice, hire a wedding planner or a day of coordinator that can take that stress away from not only you as the bride, but your mom
100%
and your parents, because it is your day, but it is your family's day too.
Yeah.
Like it's a celebration day. So if you can do anything, hire the people to take that stress away, because you deserve it to soak in every single moment. And you're going to be the most beautiful bride. I'm so excited to see the photos.
Advice. That's such great advice. And it's true. And honestly, that was me saying, I'm over it. And then like 5 minutes later, I'm like, I need to enjoy this process. Like I'm only getting married once, like hopefully.
So it goes back to your advice that you gave as pageant queen, right?
100%. Be content in the process. And it's so true. Like it's been a fun season. This season of engagement, I think I'm just over like I'm just ready to start a life with my fiance and
Yeah.
get married, move in together, and do all those things. So I
Yep.
think that's what I'm just like over the waiting to be married. I
Yeah.
guess I'm
It
ready for
is-
my day though. And honestly, also that like I've seen girls and they just obsess over their wedding, and I don't want to obsess over my wedding. Like I want to go into my wedding excited about like a life with my fiance and my soon to be husband.
Mhm.
And like that's a whole new, like I have like a bigger concept and a bigger picture about marriage. Like some girls just like obsessed with their wedding and like the season of engagement, being a bride, but I'm like I don't really, that's not really my concern right now. I'm just more
Yeah.
concerned about the life I'm going to have with my husband.
Yeah. And it's so important because even in this engagement season of you and your fiance, I want to say hubby, but fiance,
Soon, yeah.
you're still cultivating that foundation and that seed. Like that's what's going to set the groundwork for everything to come. And there's times like I look back, like we've been married 5.5 years. We got married in 2019. So we've been married 5.5 years. Our baby just turned 1.
Oh,
It's
so
so sad. I like it. I don't know. I've been having a really tough like last 2 weeks because it's just, it happens way faster. And everybody always tells you that time is different once you have a kid. And then you have a kid and you realize how different time is. But there are some times I sit there and I'm like, babe, we were just engaged. We were dating or we were just doing this. Like it happened so fast. And if I could give my younger self advice, it would be what you would say is being content in that process because there's definitely highs and lows and there's things that you're going to like times when you're just like done with it and you're going to be ready for the next time or ready for a section of your time to be over or whatever.
Yeah, like wishing away time is
and then you look back and you're like, holy crap, I've been married for 5.5 years and we have a baby and like time just goes so fast.
Yeah.
So I'm so excited for you in this next journey. It's going to be so fun.
Thank you. That's such good advice. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And it's like those are things I know, and then I'm like I just need to remind myself. So it's such a good reminder of just like enjoying. Same thing, like preaching, like practicing what I was just preaching, like enjoying the moments, enjoying the journey, enjoying each day. Like today's a good day. Waking up and saying, I don't care what happens. Like I have a choice to be happy today, and like it's a good day. And I think that's the biggest thing we could live by. And like then by the time you look back at your life, did you enjoy your life? Did you live it to the most like highest? Did you maximize your time with people and like, you know, are you scrolling your life away on social media, right? Like how are you living your life? It's really like what you're saying when you feel like time's just slipping away. It's kind of a wake up reminder and wake up call of like, okay, what are we doing with our life? Like, are we spending our time wisely? And, you know, are we going to look back at the end of our life and say, oh, we were like proud of that and we had a good one? Or are we going to regret things, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. It goes by so fast.
Yeah.
I do want to touch something I thought was cool because it was on the top. You were like pinned it. You got asked to be a Yellowstone stunt double.
Yeah.
How the heck does that even come? Like that is one of the top shows. And obviously, I mean, what better example in the Western world or in the hunting industry to be represented on Yellowstone, which is like highlighting a huge, huge part of American culture. How did you get involved with that? And how was that experience?
Oh my gosh. It was so amazing. So back to like even when I mentioned like that title of the National High School Rodeo Queen completely shaped my life, whether it was like me going into Kryptek, but also when I was the National High School Rodeo Queen, I was at a rodeo at state finals actually in Idaho, and I had a gal who had also worked on set as a stunt double, and she came knocking on my trailer door, my horse trailer door, and was like, do you want to go on Yellowstone? And I guess long story short, she went around and asked people like who would be a good girl that would do well in this scene, in this environment, who is mature enough and, you know, who can ride. And people recommended me. And I'm like so honored by that and so like can't even believe it and just so grateful for the opportunity. And like within a week I was up in Darby. Is that Darby Wisdom area filming. And it was truly surreal. Like I look back at that week and I was like, what? It was like,
Yeah.
truly, I'm like, that happened.
I do want to get into the Yellowstone thing, but I do want to
Yeah.
point something out that you had said that I think is very valuable and important to anybody who is struggling or trying to figure out what's next.
Mm-hmm.
People watch everything that you do, whether you don't know what you're doing yet or how you react, or you don't know where it's going to lead you. People ask before they ask you.
100%.
Like they ask other people. So if you're sitting there like, are they ever going to ask me, or if I ever going to do this? Like maybe you should check how you're representing yourself to everybody rather than just that one person
100%.
because word gets around.
Yeah.
Especially in a small community.
Yeah.
So I think that says a lot about your character, that people would recommend you and that you would be a good example. But I just wanted to throw that out there first.
Such good advice.
Because you hit it. Now let's go into the Yellowstone.
Yeah.
So how was that experience?
It was amazing. It was so, but the other thing, like it was super cool to see that. But I will say this, it was hard work because like we had 600 head of cattle on our scenes, and like half the time we weren't even filming. We were truly pushing cattle like down the streets, through the paths, like through country to get them to from one place to another. And half of the time we weren't even filming. Like it was true. Like Taylor Sheridan, who also is in the reining cow horse industry, and I actually have seen him like at shows. I saw him at World Finals 2 years when I was competing there in reining cow horse with my horse, and he is very immersed in that. And that's one thing I really respect about him is his authenticity. And he will take a true cattle scene, like true drive that they're doing, and say, okay, we're just going to come film it. And same thing, he goes and finds people off the rodeos and says, come up and film with us, like exactly he did to me. And so that's one thing I truly respect about him, because there's been Western shows that you go and watch on Netflix, and I personally can't even watch them because I cringe because they're not doing things right, or they're not using the right terminology, or things are just unethical with the animals. And it misrepresents the Western world. But the reason why Yellowstone is such a hit and took off so well is because they had the support, that show had the support of the Western industry, because Taylor Sheridan was immersed in it already, and he truly valued the authenticity of it. And so I think it's been monumental in the world of the Western industry. One, because it's spread, like, country's cool now, which I love. I'm like all for it because I want everyone to like love
we
this
grew
lifestyle.
up in it. We were like, yeah make it normal.
Right. When I was in middle school, I was getting called like horse girl and being made fun of. And now it's cool.
Yes, I literally said that in, I think it was Maddie's episode. And I was like, when I was growing up, my dad would pull me out of school early to go hunting. And I would keep it quiet because I was raised in the suburbs. So it wasn't a thing that people really did kind of, but really girls did. And so I would keep it quiet for a really long time, because if word got out that you hunted, it was different. But now I'm like, oh, thank God we're normal. Okay.
I know. And a lot of people like envy. Even at the event I was at earlier today, people were like, oh, like I've always wanted to like have horses and live that lifestyle, and people envy it now. And I'm like, wow, I'm so grateful that, I was grown up, I was raised that way.
Yeah.
And it's truly a huge blessing, and I wouldn't want it any other way. And I want to raise my kids the same way because I want to maintain that heritage, that lifestyle. It's so important. And that's why the second point with Taylor and how monumental Yellowstone is with just the Western industry in itself is just that heritage and maintaining it. Because like I said at the beginning, the outdoor industry and the Western world have always been under attack, whether it's mainly because of animal welfare versus animal rights and that debate. And Yellowstone has done a great job at exhibiting and showing the true ways of animal welfare. And the misconception that many people have is that in rodeos, like, animals are mistreated and they're harmed and they're not taken care of correctly. Well, that's something I'm very passionate about because I know I'm in it, and I know how well we take care of our animals and how much we value our animals. Same goes with hunting in the world of conservation. Hunters are the stewards of our wildlife. They're the reasons we still have our wildlife. And if you go into I could go all into that with like the Mule Deer Foundation, SCI, DSC, all those important conservation groups, and the importance of hunting and just the animals in itself. Like truly that shows like what are we up against? We're up against the people that aren't educated. So it's all boils down to education, and Yellowstone has done an amazing job at educating those that may not have known truly like the Western way of life and why why the animals are roped, and because we need to vaccinate them and brand them so that they're well taken care of, right? I mean, I could go on and on.
Yeah. No, I love it. That's so fun. Well, I know that you've had a really long day, so I have a couple questions to end us out. Again, these are chat GPTs. So.
Period, girl. I love AI.
Freaking love it. It's like I
use AI all the time.
Dude, use the tools and the resources that you have to help improve your life and your productivity.
Yes.
So, this is where we're at. Okay. Why did I put this again, ChatGPT. Okay. If you could have a fictional character as your best friend, who would it be?
Fictional character.
Such a random question. I was like, I don't even know.
This is a really interesting question. I'm like so immersed in nonfiction, so I'm like having to think of someone like made up is interesting. Honestly, this is kind of, is this chuggy to say Katniss Everdeen?
Okay.
I think she's such a boss girl.
She is.
She's like a huntress. Can we just talk about that for a second? Like how Hunger Games literally, like there's hunting in it and people like, like that just shows. I love that they highlight that.
Yeah. Might be
I don't know. I feel like I'd be besties with Katniss Everdeen. Okay. And I just like love, like J-Law is hilarious. Let's just be honest there.
Even
though I know Katniss, like the character is not, she's more serious, but I just feel like Katniss is like so baddie.
Yeah. That was way better than I was thinking. I was like, I'd probably have like the Fairly Odd Parents so they could make my wishes come true. I was like, I don't even know. I don't even know. But yours is a good one. I like that one. Yeah. So we'll stick with yours. What is your favorite way to unwind after a long day?
I love journaling. I start my day and usually end my day with like journaling, recapping my day. Okay, what did I do that I could have improved on? What did I do that I was grateful for? Like just being like almost like it's a moment of gratitude, and that just keeps me in the right heart posture. Mm-hmm. Because if I don't journal, boy, am I a mess. Like I'm a hot mess. So I would say that's like the best way to unwind my day. And then I always, before I go to bed, have my to-do list for my next day. So I'm not like all over the place because I'm very busy and I need to make sure I'm organized. And so that would be like the number one thing. I can't sleep properly until I know exactly like my schedule for the next day, which may be a little that might not be healthy, but
no, not healthy. I think that's super healthy. I definitely do that in my notes section every single night.
Yep.
And I just check it off, and then I like make times, and your day goes so much smoother when you have a plan. And if you like look back on the days that you don't do that plan, then you're just it's almost not as productive.
100%
in my opinion.
Yep.
It's so funny. I actually heard this one from a Jelly Roll interview. But what's the last thing that you added into your Amazon cart?
I haven't shopped on Amazon in so long.
Or online do you do online shopping?
Well, yeah. I'm like ordering clothes right now for my bachelorette trip. So I was just like shopping for like white clothes for batch weekend. The girls and I are going to Cali in 2 weeks for like in Huntington Beach area. I'm super excited, but yeah, I need white. Apparently you're supposed to wear white as a bride.
Yeah, or you could do like
rumor has it.
Yeah, or you could do the whole like old lady trend where everybody
wear a wig, like a gray wig.
Yeah, I mean whatever floats your boat, right?
But that's definitely what I've been shopping for, which is not probably the answer you were expecting, but
that's okay.
Wedding season, and ladies and gents, wedding season, wedding planning for you.
Well, by the time this episode comes out, they can just go check your posts and see what you bought. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Do you have a secret or a hidden talent?
Oh goodness, you're asking me so many hard questions. See, if I told you, it would no longer be a secret or a hidden talent.
You don't have to tell us. It's okay.
I actually just said that because I don't know. I truly don't think
You're probably just being shy or bashful, but your friends and family probably are all sitting and they're going to be like, it's this one. But we'll keep it a secret.
I promise you I can't sing. I suck at dancing. What Yeah, I can't draw. I suck at art. Like, I'm not very creative.
I'm sure something's going to come later. You're going to be like, oh, I can tie a cherry.
I
don't
suck
know,
at driving. No, I can't do that. Yeah. I don't know.
There's something. We'll keep it a secret.
It's a secret. There's a reason it has to be secret.
Okay. What is the biggest lesson that you have learned while working in your family business?
It kind of goes back into what I mentioned about contentment with after winning Worlds. I think the same thing, and I think I lost that for a little bit when I got immersed into Kryptek. I got so hyper fixated on how the business was doing, and I would let that affect my mood so bad. Like if our business had a bad day or bad sales or something went wrong, I would be like truly so exhausted and stressed to a point where you could see like a difference in my health. Like my fiance was even like, Kylee, like you seem stressed. Like I was even like puffy, and just like letting truly like the state of the company affecting my daily life. And I think I've learned through the last couple months, just through like turbulence, every business has turbulence. And of course that's something I've learned throughout the season, and businesses have highs and lows. You look at most businesses that have gone public, most of the time before they go public, they had a huge low, and then their success story is awesome. And so that's one of the things I've learned is just at the end of the day, every business goes through highs and lows, and you cannot let that, especially during the lows, affect your mood. Even during highs now, I've gotten to the point where I'm like, wow, that's a blessing. Like, thank you, Lord. But also, I'm just going to go about my day. Like, I'm happy already. You gotta keep, like, I'm not going to get a high on the successes of it, because when those days aren't as good, then I get a super low. And so back to the whole contentment thing, just being content and just finding joy in the mundane of business, and not letting the state of the company affect like my state of stress, or like my, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Just my mood, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a very big lesson, because it's very hard to, especially when it's a family business, it's very hard to separate like the work-life balance. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's never there. But being able to control yourself, that it doesn't overstress you, so you can still enjoy
100%.
The moments.
Yep.
Is very, very key. And it's very hard to find that balance, but
yeah. And that's definitely something I'm learning through and working through. And yes, there's days where I'm like bummed out because something happened, but it's one of those things I finally have like recognized, and I'm like, okay, like journaling, how can I not let that affect me?
Yeah.
You know, but it's so good. The balance is so important, and I definitely think it's the most important thing I've learned in the last couple months.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, a couple more. What's one thing that you've always have in your bag or your purse?
Oh, chapstick, like lip gloss, chapstick. If my lips are chapped, like I can't function.
I love it.
Yes.
I agree. I feel like if your lips are chapped, you can't focus on anything else. It's just the worst.
Yeah.
What's one hobby that you have always wanted to try but you haven't yet?
I have so many hobbies.
I know, it's hard.
Oh, that's hard. Honestly, I know. Obviously, this is so good. My dad got me a bow for Christmas, and I never have grown up archery hunting. Like, I've always just rifle hunted. And my fiance is like a big time backcountry archery hunter, and so he's like really pushing me to like get into archery hunting. So for sure that would be like number one, because I've never harvested an animal with my bow.
Yeah.
So I just want to get into that and be more confident behind a bow, and be able to like harvest an animal with that, because I've heard it's just like so different from rifle hunting.
Yeah.
And yeah, that would definitely be a hobby. I'm left eye dominant but right-handed, so that's a huge struggle of mine when it comes to shooting. And so with the bow thing, it's really hard because my left hand is not as strong as my right hand. And so that's one thing I'm navigating through, but definitely a hobby I'm working on and wanting to pick up.
That'll be a fun one.
Yeah.
Especially
Stay tuned.
Stay
now
tuned.
everyone knows. Who knows how that's going to end
Actually,
up.
we'll just hold you accountable.
Yeah.
That's right.
I know.
That's great.
We'll see.
That actually kind of leads into the question, the next question, which is like, do you have an oh shit goal? Which I assume this would be it. Do you know what an oh shit goal is?
No.
It's like something that you like make for the year. And I'm touching this now because in the previous 2 episodes, we talk about oh shit goals. And it's basically you set a goal that gets you completely out of your comfort zone that you have to train for. So example, Mandy's from last week, her oh shit goal, she wanted to hike the Grand Canyon from rim to rim. And so she obviously it's a big thing that you trained for. She had to like take the steps over the couple months to like make sure she could walk that much and make sure she was prepared. So do you have an oh shit goal that you're working towards?
I guess, yeah, archery hunting would be like harvesting a bull with my bow would be one of them. I need to train for that. I need to get comfortable with aiming. I'm the type of person that will not take a shot, whether it be with rifle so far, unless it's ethical and I'm 100% sure like it will be an ethical shot. And so that's definitely something I'm working on, and probably an oh shit goal for me.
Perfect.
My fiance's gonna listen to this and be like, here we go.
Here we go. We're putting it down.
Yep.
It's set in stone, and we're all gonna hold you accountable.
I know.
So it'll be great.
See how it goes.
It's gonna be great. You're gonna be great, and you're gonna probably kill the biggest bull that anybody's ever saw. Putting the good luck out there for you.
We will see. Thank you.
Okay, final one.
Okay.
To leave us, what is one piece of advice that you would like to leave for the podcast?
One piece of advice. Gosh, I feel like I've given like advice.
You've given so much, but to leave it on a I know.
Like I'm like, what would be a different piece? I want to say like I'm like that would be the number one is like just enjoy the mundane of life. But I'm like, what's something different? Oh, okay. I think okay. You're probably gonna have to like edit some of this.
It's okay.
Because I'm like being messy right now. Okay. I'll start. Do you want to ask the question again and then I'll answer? Because I have it now.
Or you can just speak. It's okay.
Okay.
We're real here. We're
okay.
We're real and raw and we're ready to go. So you just say what it is.
Okay. One piece of advice that's different from what I've talked about in the podcast already, because obviously like those are really important and I would probably put those at the top. But this is something I've recently noticed with just leadership and management in business. And it would just be to, I think the biggest thing is like, and this is going to sound super cliche, but like, do not get caught up in the, basically don't get caught up when it comes to like your job, if you're working or if you're in school of like, okay, this is what I need to do today. And like, that's good enough. Like, of course I want you to be content with like where you're at in your life, but I also feel like our nation is under kind of a pandemic of laziness. Not saying everyone's lazy, but our nation's under a pandemic of laziness when it comes to their work ethic. People get caught in the 9-to-5 job. They come home, they watch Netflix, and then they wake up again and do it all over again. Like, that is a fear of mine. I don't ever want to live in that. And so for me, it's like, yes, there's going to be early years in my 20s of grinding, absolute grinding of like, what do I need to work on today? And for me, when it goes like when I go to work, I say, okay, I have these things. These are must-haves. These are like my to-dos for the job. This is my job description. Okay. After I get those things done, though, I could say, okay, I'm done working for the day. Like, that was good enough. But my biggest piece of advice would say, take a step back and say, what do I need to do now to like grow and scale? And I think having that perspective, it's almost like an entrepreneurial perspective of growing and scaling in a business mindset, and just having a hard work ethic around that will benefit so many people if they start to just like, if they don't get caught up in that, okay, that's good enough. I did my to-dos. Like, I'm done for the day. Like, truly take a step back and say, okay, what do you need to do to like improve your life? Even if it's not business related, it doesn't have to be related to your work, but like your life in general. Is it social media? Do you want to pursue social media? Is it building your own brand someday? Mm-hmm. Is it, like you said, creating a new hobby, something along those lines? I think in general, people are just getting so caught up in the routine of life and what culture has shaped for us. And I think a fear of mine is getting caught in that with them. And so the biggest piece of advice for me as someone who's super young and trying to navigate their 20s and wanting to be successful in life, and also then that's a whole nother rabbit trail of success and what's the definition of success. But I won't go into it. Anyways.
For the next time.
Yeah,
we'll have
right.
You back.
I know, I ramble a lot. Goodness. But it would be to take a step back and say, what can I like do to improve now after I've completed the basic like level? Like, how can you take a step forward and work harder?
Yeah.
And that's what sets people apart, I think. In anything in life.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. And, you know, some days I definitely catch myself in that where I'm like, the night before you sit there and you make your list, right? You do your checklist and then you go through your day and then you're like, oh, I checked everything off. Oh, now I can relax and watch TV. And it's like, actually, no, let's sit and change that mindset. Now you need to go sit and market your podcast, or you have to hit this goal on your podcast, 100%. Or you like, what else can you achieve through the day? Like, okay, you might have gotten your checklist done, but now you have so much more time to advance. What else? 100%. Like, what else can you learn? What else can you do? Do you need to purge your house? Do you need to clean your house? Like, do take those moments to, you know, sit there and give your family an hour with no phone. But then as soon as like the baby goes down to bed, like what can you do to advance your life for the next 30 to 40 years? Because I'm like you, I'm in my 20s, right? Like we have to grind now to like advance and, you know, hit the goals. Cause I'm sure you're the same way. You're like in success. Like what does that look like? But you can't get there unless you do all the extra stuff. And it doesn't come in with the 9 to 5. It comes into the, what was it, 5 to 10 or whatever they say. So,
but to clarify too, and just as a disclaimer, yes, within that, be content in your daily life. And then second, rest. That's another thing I've really learned is like finding rest. Like my Sundays are a complete rest day for me. I don't even I try not to go on my phone. Even I run Kryptek social media part-time, and I try not even to like post or I try to usually have a post planned ahead of time for that, or like, you know, things like that. Rest is so important for you to be able to have that energy to keep going and grinding. Yeah. So anyways, a little disclaimer, but.
Dude, I love it. And I am just so grateful that you took your time extra in your day. You've been up since 4 and you took your time to come and just support me in this. Like it does mean a lot that you like drove all the way here and supported me in it. And I think you're very inspiring, not just as like a woman in the hunting industry, but as what it means to be like American women in general. You're down to earth, you're gorgeous, you're real. And I can't wait to see where that takes you, because you're going to like hit these awesome points in your life where you're just a really good example.
Thank you. Well, I also want to thank you for having me. I feel honored to be on this and a part of this journey, and I'm so excited for you and just like excited to sit back and watch you do big things as you already are. And I really admire you and what you're doing, and right back at you, sister.
Thanks. Well, let's keep supporting each other.
Yes, girl.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, take care.